As we know, Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney were meant to face each other in a boxing match, which would have turned heads and it would have been a star-breaking showdown, but it fell through based on things that happened on Keyshawn Davis's side. Now, I'm not going to spend this video calling Keyshawn a duck or saying he did this or he did that. I'm just going to explain why the business fell through, and you guys are going to decide whether that's ducking or whether it was smart business. So before we get into this, we have to understand how much Keyshawn has made and how much and why he made the decision he did, because at the end of the day, it all came down to money, to why the fight didn't happen. The decision of the fight not happening was all because of the money that he was getting, and it was on Keyshawn's side, not Devin's side, because as we know, Devin signed to fight Keyshawn and accepted the money that he received. So prior to this fight, the biggest amount of money that Keyshawn had received was $1 million. And I'm not sure if that was for the Nahir Albright rematch or the Jermaine Ortiz fight that he had. But one of those fights offered him $1 million purse, and that was the highest he's ever made in his career. Now, if you've been paying any attention to the boxing scene, you know Keyshawn Davis has been calling out Devin Haney for about 6 months now, endlessly, and he even enforced himself to be Devin Haney's mandatory by using illegal means to boost himself up from the one-ranked fighter in the WBO at 140 to the one-ranked fighter in the WBO at 147. Normally, that doesn't happen unless you were a champion, but he was able to do this without being a champion and without fighting Shakur Stevenson, and went ahead of Brian Norman. And since the events that have transpired, Keyshawn is now rated at 7, showing you that his real ranking was meant to be 7 and not 1. So it just shows you the amount of rules that they broke to make this fight happen. So moving on, let's look at the first offer Keyshawn was made. So whether it was Devin Haney's team or Top Rank, someone offered Keyshawn $3 million guaranteed to fight Devin. Now, obviously, this is a lot more money than Keyshawn has ever made in his career, so you would expect that he would take this money, right? But the thing with Keyshawn's team and the way his business is set up is he has to give about 30% of his earnings to Jay Prince. And then mind you, he still has to pay his trainers and other people that help him throughout camp for that, and pay for things like physical therapy and transportation, things like that, a camp house. So he has to pay for his maintenance fee, his people who work with his team in camp, and his manager. And then he has to make an excellent profit at the end of the day out of this, or else he's basically getting scammed, because this is the biggest fight of his career. So he should be making also the biggest amount of money in his career. So all of this is fair to say out loud until you realize that Keyshawn declined this $3 million and he went to purse bid instead. Now, the only problem with the purse bids is he knew going into the purse bids that it was a 75-25 split with him and Devin Haney, meaning that whatever was bid would be split 75% to Devin Haney and 25% to Keyshawn Davis. Now, however much they wanted to handle that money would have to be done by their teams and whatever they wanted. Now, going into this purse bid, Keyshawn wanted $5 million for this fight, because the highest he's ever made was $1 million, but he thought he was worth $5 million in this fight versus Devin Haney. So obviously $5 million is a big from $3 million, and $5 million is a massive from $1 million. So going into the purse bids, they would have had to bid $12 million for him to even get the $3 million that he was initially offered. And then $20 million for him to get the $5 million that he wanted. So he's just looking at stupid at this point. So it's becoming very unrealistic, because he's hoping, like he's going into this bid with hope that someone bids $20 million. And then they go into the bid, and the highest bid, it was only 2 people who bid to begin with. It was Teofimo Lopez's Takeover Promotions, who was backed by DAZN, and Top Rank, Keyshawn's promotions, and they won the bid by bidding only $8 million. Now that $8 million was split 75-25. So Keyshawn was taking home $2.1 million and Devin was taking home just over $6 million, which to Devin is a low ball, because his last couple of fights, he's been making over $10 million. So this was his first fight in a minute, besides probably the Jose Ramirez fight, that he was making under $10 million, but he still had to take it, because if he didn't take it, then he would have lost his belt. So he still took the $6 million, and to him, that's still a plus, because unlike Keyshawn Davis, Devin owns his own promotional company, Devin Haney Promotions. So he promotes himself, so he pays himself for promotion. He doesn't have to pay 30% to a promoter like Keyshawn Davis does. with Jay Prince. Instead, Devin just pays himself. So the only people Devin's really paying are his promoters and paying for maintenance, his physical maintenance, his therapy and things of that nature, his strength and conditioning, his coaches, stuff like that. So he only has to pay those people. He's not cutting off masses to pay to the Zone, Top Rank, his manager. He just has to pay himself, his people, and his belt organization, the WBO, and they usually take about 3%. So yes, while Devin would have been making less money than he's used to, he's still keeping a bulk of the money. Unlike Keyshawn, who's making 2.1 million, and he has to pay about 30%. This is to remind you, but around there's of 30% to Jay Prince. He still has to pay his managers, pay his coaches, his trainers, and then pay for maintenance. And then if he wins the belt, matter of fact, regardless, he's still paying 3% to the WBO. And all this is for the biggest fight of his career. So he would have ended up taking home just about $1 million or even less than $1 million by the end of the fight. So for the biggest fight of his career, that's a big lowball to be taking home just about $1 million or just under $1 million. So I kind of understand where Keyshawn is coming from by declining this offer, but you have to remember that he was offered $3 million to begin with. And he said he would take whatever offer again to begin with. He said he's the one who stated he wanted the 75-25. He accepted the 75-25. He declined the $3 million to go for the 75-25. So this whole fight, negotiation, everything that negative that happened on his end was simply because he decided to not take the $3 million, because he knew no one surprised him with the 75-25. He knew that it would have to go to a purse bid, and he and his team should have done calculations to know exactly how much they would need to bid to get how much they want, because they have said themselves they wanted $5 million. So if they know they wanted $5 million, they know that 25% of 20 million is $5 million. So they know that 20 million has to be bid. And they should know that they're being offered $3 million guaranteed, whether it's by Devin Haney Promotions or whether it's by Top Rank. They were offered $3 million. And the main reason they declined this $3 million is because Brian Norman Jr. made $3.5 million to fight Devin. And they felt like they were getting lowballed by getting lower than Brian Norman Jr. by just $500K. But what you have to understand is Brian Norman Jr. was the champion. Brian Norman Jr. earned the right to be worth $3.5 million. You're just a name. And the main reason you're even a big name is because you're attached to people like Shakur Stevenson and Richardson Hitchens, because you came up with them. So accept the $3 million. But no, he decided, no, I'm not going to get lower than Brian Norman Jr. Mind you, Brian Norman Jr. was a champion, so he's definitely going to make more than you anyways. But they said, no, we're not going to take the $3 million. We feel like we're worth way more than Brian Norman Jr., so we're going to take $5 million instead. They should have known that $3 million was 25% of $12 million. So they should have known that if they even wanted to make back that $3 million, another $12 million would have had to be bid to even make that $3 million to begin with. Now they went in there and only $8 million was bid, and they left with $2.1 million, and they were sad about it. Now that's just bad business from someone who calls himself the businessman. That's no one's fault but his. This is not Devin's fault. Devin signed the contract. They accepted the 75-25. Devin signed his part. Devin didn't duck anyone. Yes, you can call Keyshawn a duck for this, but it's not because he was scared of him. It's because he made a very stupid business decision, or a multitude of stupid business decisions combined together. Because not only did he know the 75-25 split, he was also pocket watching Brian Norman Jr., which ruined his opportunity. And then he requested for us that that 20 million would have had to be bid to even make. You have to realize that they're not just going to give you the 5 million out of pocket. They're going to put a bunch of money on the table, and you're making 25% of that money, and 25% of what you're making is going to equal 5 million. That is a big fight. That is a huge fight. Yes, Devin Haney versus Keyshawn Davis is a massive fight, but once bidding goes into it, when you start bidding for a fight, people usually start going lower to highest. No one's just going to start the bid at 20 million. Mind you, the bid for this fight was 250K. It wasn't even in the millions. So yes, Keyshawn Davis is not a duck, but it's going to be interesting to see where his career goes from here, because there's so many cases that plague his career now. I mean, he's pulled out from fights, he's missed weight twice, and now he's ducked Devin Haney after calling him out for 3 months. He's been in backstage brawls with his brothers. after they lost the fight. So it's looking like bad business to even deal with these people to begin with. So only God knows where his career goes from here. As for Devin Haney, this just increases his stock because the quote-unquote boogeyman of the division, or who would have been the boogeyman of the division, refused to fight Devin Haney, and people are seeing that as being scared of him. So for Devin, this increases stock without him even having to fight. Now people are willing to pay more to see him fight, willing to pay more to see Devin Haney in the ring. And it looks like Devin Haney already has his eyes set on fighting Liam Paro. So hopefully that's a good fight for him, and hopefully he can continue chasing his undisputed goals. And so yeah, guys, if you love that video, just click the subscribe button. It's Pop3Box, and I will keep uploading videos like this on boxing related content. Thank you, and I am out.